Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Review with me. Today, we're going to go ahead and review Ready to Love Season 10, Episode 5. This episode is called Tommy's Philly Block Party. Party. So they all join together at the block looking hot. And I wonder what is the temperature? Because every time I see Rocky, it's just hair sweating. Every time I see Cisco, chest sweating. What is the temperature and why can't they go somewhere inside all the time? Nonetheless, it seems like a really cute atmosphere or environment. And I think it speaks to the fact that Philly, I guess they're known for their block parties, just like how New York is and other urban cities or cities of that sort, I guess, because I know some Boston areas, I know people don't think Boston has urban anything, but it does. Anyway, let's get into it. So they're at the block party. Cisco hugs Tay as she is standing next to Kiara. He hugs Tay, but gives Kiara an elbow tap of like a welcome. Now, I immediately noticed, I'm like, hey, he can't give Kiara no love. But then he wasn't rude about it. So later on, we find out actually there's some drama happening between the two of them, Cisco and Tay, because he shared with her in his vulnerable state. And this is why men don't want to be vulnerable with us. This is why men do not want to be vulnerable with women. Why do I say that? So, this is what he shares with her. He says to her, he doesn't have a car, he doesn't have a place to live. He does live in a room, but as far as having a whole house or an apartment to himself, no. He's been married before, but he is divorced, and the divorce has brought him to this space of financial instability. So, bam, 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 right? I mean, there's a reason why he didn't share that from the beginning, but let's talk about her response. So I guess they were talking over the phone when he shared this, and Tay was like, I saw it. Tay was like, broken. What? Okay. Later on, I'm gonna get into what she says later, but this is why men don't talk to women. Okay, women go on and on saying, I want you to tell me what's on your mind. I want to be there for you, yada, yada, yada. And then when a man actually tells you, I'm broke, I'm going through it right now, I'm having a lot of financial instability. And it's primarily it's not because of him being frivolous with his money. It's not because he was an addict and he just didn't know his money just fell through because of his addiction. No, it's because of a divorce. And I think there's a lot of ignorance around how much money can be negatively affected by a divorce. A marriage is a business, and when you are married to someone whom you have shared your bank accounts with, your assets with, it is a financial hit when y'all divorce, especially if y'all don't have a prenup. And we know a lot of Black couples don't have prenups. I don't know if his ex-wife is a Black woman, but nonetheless, him being Black, or he's I don't know, is he Dominican? Well, I don't know if he considers himself Black. Nonetheless, there's a lot of people who aren't considered of elite status, right? Maybe they don't come into the marriage with a lot of money, so they probably think, well, why we need a prenup? So nonetheless, you have situations like that where it's going to be a financial hit, so much so that you may find yourself without a car, without a place to live, and living in a room for some time. Now, I don't know how long he's been married and how long this divorce has taken place. Like, how fresh is he from the divorce? So how long has he been in this financial instability? Now, we don't also get to understand so much of how much a man's financial identity impacts the identity of a man. Men have been conditioned to believe that they are providers, that they are the caretaker, well, not caretakers, but they are the providers. They are the one who is stable. They are the one who has a plan and who could drive the people, or the woman, their wife, their lady, into an upward mobility. And when you tell me you don't have a place, when you tell me you don't have a car, when you tell me that you're broke, I'm sure it hits his ego. I'm sure. And I'm not saying this from a place of throw him away. I'm saying Tay's reaction to him made it seem as if she was throwing him away, because he said, this is what he said. He said, as soon as he said all of this to her, as soon as he was transparent and vulnerable and just like had diarrhea of the mouth, and mind you, this is still early on the process, but he felt an instant connection with Tay and vice versa. So he probably thought, you know what, let me just go ahead and let her know what's going on with me right now. And let me open up to her. She just, she went ghost. She went ghost. He felt that their connection was dwindling and that she suddenly was just acting different towards him. And that made me feel so sad for him. It really did. And I hate that for him, because I'm sure he has he has other things to offer, right? Him being temporarily financially unstable does not mean that he has nothing else to bring to the table, or that does not mean that this is where he'll always be. Or sometimes when we meet people, they're not completely where we would like for them to be, but that doesn't take away the other qualities that they have that make you interested in that person. So let's go ahead and continue. We learned that the men are in power again. And I learned that Deanna needs a new bra. Deanna, you are a thick woman who's in shape. Like, her body type is very interesting. That tight shirt she had on, you could really see the outline of her bra, and you could see her titties still coming out. Now, I'm saying this from a place of understanding, because I am a big titty woman. Let's start there. I too am a big titty woman. Okay. And I'm literally in transition of changing my bra, meaning I have not been wearing the bra that I have because it doesn't fit. These titties are too big. It's too big. So, and I don't even like wearing bras. So I just feel like, oh, I'll get it later. So I really don't have a bra to wear. Anyway, TMI, right? The point is, I see this. I understand. And Deanna, I need you to get a better bra. You're a beautiful woman, please. Oh, I just hate seeing that. And the way it's so tight on her, you can't ignore it. You can't ignore it. Unless that was what she wanted to do. Okay. So we get into just different couples and different things that they're getting into during this block party. Cam and Rose, they're picking out essential oils and they're really vibing with each other. She's like, I want to know what I want to smell you, basically. I want you to pick out a scent, or he wanted her to pick out a scent for him so that she could always smell him even when he's like not next to her. And it was a cute little moment. Rocky and Naeem start talking, and Rocky decides to tell us about how her pussy's wet, how she likes things faster, how she like getting in new highs, and she can't get enough of sex. That's what Rocky was saying in her poem. Rocky said she is a very sexual person and she likes to write sexual poems. And I don't want to police her sexual poetry, but what was she doing with this? Why did she feel the need to share this? She's like, you mind if I read my poem to you? Roses are red. This pussy's red too. I want to know where you at, because I could be inside of you. That was off the dome. Freestyle. Sign me right now. Okay? It was too much. It was too much, Rocky. And it probably would have been better suited for someone who was already interested in Rocky. But Naeem was just being nice in that moment. Naeem was just sitting down, and she happens to be sitting right there. And she's like, hey, let me recite this poetry. Naeem says he still sees her as a friend. Like, damn, that sucks, right? I tell you how this pussy's wet. I want it faster and faster. And you still see me as a friend. Okay. Cisco talks to Naeem and starts having this like bro to bro therapy moment, and I lived for this scene. I think it was a beautiful scene. I loved how their masculinity was still intact. Like, I didn't feel like, oh, are they still like men? Like, sometimes when men are vulnerable, they're like, a lot of people think, well, some people may think, dang, like, man up, man up. I didn't have that emotion at all. Cause sometimes I'm those people, right? Sometimes I'm like, okay, man up, nigga. Why the fuck you crying? I loved how Cisco expressed himself. I love how Naeem was present. He was also validating the emotion of Kiera. Because just to give you guys a little context here again, Cisco was telling Naeem about his connection with Tay, and that if he feels that it's been stagnant or dwindling ever since he shared with her that he's homeless. And he was being honest and open and vulnerable with her, but since he's shared that information, she's been acting a little different towards him. And Naeem was present. He was attentive. He listened to him. It was a beautiful, beautiful moment between Black men. And I love seeing how Cisco was vulnerable. Like, and not once did I think, damn, these niggas need to, man, this is so embarrassing. This is so cringe. I was watching this scene and I was touching my neck. I was like, oh my god, this is so, like, I loved that. I thought it was beautiful. So Cisco said he feels embarrassed. He feels embarrassed that he has experienced homelessness. And I think he technically still is homeless, even though he does have a room to stay in, but nonetheless, technically homeless. And he feels so embarrassed that he just wants to disappear. And that right there was a triggering thing to say, because if people aren't familiar with words and phrases that indicate something's going on mentally, that you feel so depressed or so embarrassed or ashamed about something that's not even necessarily something to be ashamed about. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't put anyone's life in danger, or you didn't hurt anyone without their consent or anything like that. Like, sometimes people experience homelessness. Sometimes people experience all these things where you just have to learn how to get yourself back up again. But nonetheless, people still allow shame and embarrassment to take over them. So when he said he feels like disappearing, oh, my heart broke. My heart broke, and I really commended him for even saying that. And then he even broke down. He covered his eyes with his sweat towel, because he got to have his sweat towel. Ever since we met him from episode 1 from season 1, episode 1, no, ever since we met him episode 1, he was sweating bricks. He's a sweater. Okay, so he had his sweat towel on, and he was covering his eyes as he was breaking down while he said that. And Naeem was just, oh, he was such a good man in that moment, both of them. But Naeem gave such great advice. He said how, God has a plan for you, and where you are right now is inspiring to someone else who, like, this could be a GPS for the other person. You're going to get yourself out of this. Yeah, I don't know. He was just like giving him great advice. That's what he was saying. Basically, I paraphrased it. And he also said, like, look, if she doesn't want to be with you, I'm paraphrasing. I think I'm making it sound harsh than it actually sounded. But he was saying, like, if Tay realizes this is not what she wants, and she has her right to do so. And I actually like that he said that. Like, because maybe some guys could have been like, yo, fuck that bitch. She ain't all of that anyway. Fuck her. She got these big old bug eyes anyway. Like, yeah, I don't know. They would have found something about her that was suddenly unattractive. But he said, look, if she can't see, the other qualities in you, then y'all just not the right persons for each other. Or she's in her right, well, he said that in the confession. I don't think he said that part. But I know he said the part of like, if she can't see the other qualities in you, then maybe y'all are just not for each other. And I thought that was a great way to handle the situation. They hugged it out. It was a very beautiful moment, and I hope they develop a stronger bond beyond this moment. I hope they develop a friendship. And I'm happy that was a beautiful moment. That was a really beautiful, shout out to Ready to Love. Okay, so Jay says what he's saying with Sahara. He's connecting with her. He's saying that, she's an around the way girl. I need me around the way girl. Like, that phrase that people say if you're like, you're down to earth, you're from the block, low key homegirl vibes. So I will be kind of cautious with that term. Nonetheless, it's like my favorite word. Nonetheless, Cam was looking around the corner. He's like, oh, I see them talking. He was feeling jealous. And the producer asked him in the confessional, are you jealous? He's like, nah, no, I'm not jealous. I'm aware. I thought it was kind of cute, though. I didn't see his jealousy as a red flag. Some people may see it as such because I don't know. It's natural, right? Because in this human experience, that is an emotion that we feel often, especially if you're not controlling it well. But in this process, even more, you are further it's in your face, right? You're forced to date multiple people at the same time, build connection with multiple people in order to be on the show, right? Like, that's literally a part of the game. You have to have more than one connection to stay on the show, to win the show, to be one of the last 2 or 4 couples standing. And that's what I think is the hard part here. It's just a part of the human experience. But I thought Cam was being cute in this moment. Like, yeah, he noticed, he felt some type of way. But it made me happy for Sahara, because I don't think Sahara gets enough good representation or good talking behind her back. I think she is often talked about as this loose cannon. Fritz was what she said about her. And it's nice that she is being seen and validated by someone else. So that was cute. Shanice sent Fritz a prayer, and she thanked him for doing so because he created an environment that allowed her to do so. They actually share a kiss after he feeds her ice cream. Okay, Fritz, I don't know about Fritz. Ever since the beginning, I looked at Fritz, I was like, ugh. Ever since he said he's a wealth manager, he's a management of wealth, I was like, what that mean? Just say you're an accountant. Like, what are we talking about? He does have a nice home, but he comes off very pretentious. Like, when we first met him, he says how, I had a trip, I forget where, Dubai, somewhere, but he decided to cancel the trip because he put Ready to Love as a priority, and this would have interfered, and the trip was for his birthday. And Angie, I think it was, said, oh, I hope you got insurance on the trip, hope you got insurance airfare. He's like, no, I'll just no worries. I'll just chalk it up. Like, it's no big deal. Like, first of all, money being lost is still money being lost. Regardless of how much money you have, you will still feel like, dang, I could have saved money here. So him saying that as flippantly as he did gave the impression that he was just this austere type of person. And I just didn't like that. And like, who are you trying to impress or trying to fool? He just comes off very highbrow. I'm not a fan of him, never have been. And throughout this episode, it's further proven why. Angie finally lets Cam bag her, but she kind of does it by coercing him to do so. She says, okay, when are you going to give me this? When are you going to give me this? And I think that's just like the way that women talk in Philly, apparently. That's what I think. And look, I don't mind a straightforward woman. I'm very straightforward myself, very much so. Because YOLO, like, what am I gonna do? Wait by the bar and give you these eyes? No, hello, I like you. So Cam, He said, no, put that away. Put that away. I bag you. You don't bag me. And I like that. I'm like, okay, Cam is rising up. Cam is rising up. Yes, I bag you. You don't bag me. Bitch, I sit the fuck down. Sit the fuck down. That's what he should have said to her. He should have slapped her too. Like, I'd have been like, oh, these big old titties. Oh. Cisco talks to Tay because he finally pulls her aside and he tells her, basically he noticed a shift with her ever since he shared her the information. Her excuse is, and I'm not buying it. Look, I still like Tay, but I'm not buying it. Her excuse is she got scared. And the reason she got scared is she assumed that him being in his rebuilding phase would not have room for her. Like he won't have time to be in their relationship or get to know her or spend time with her, etc., because he's too busy rebuilding his life. And Cisco tries to reassure her saying, I've rebuilt my life with I've reached goals whether I'm in a relationship or whether I'm not, and that that's not going to be an issue. Basically, he's reassuring her, and I believe him. But again, I don't believe Tay here because she's saying she felt scared. I don't think she felt scared because she thinks he won't have enough time for her. Instead, I think she just judged him. That's it. I think she just felt an immediate turn off and was like, brokey. Like, I don't know. I really felt like I felt like she just was turned off by it and was afraid that he won't be able to afford the nice things that she may desire or the experiences that she may want to experience. And she doesn't want to have to deal with the broke life, the struggle life. She doesn't want to struggle love. That's what I think it was. And instead of her saying that in that moment, she gives the excuse of she got scared and then gave the excuse of, well, where do I fit in this life? If you're rebuilding, where do I fit in it? It's like, man, people make time for what they want to make time for. Cut it out. You just afraid because he doesn't have enough money to spend on you. That's what I think. That's my opinion. Let me know what y'all think. So we get to Rocky, Cam, and Fritz. The whole poly topic comes in the mix yet again. Rocky goes on and on saying, what's mine is mine. I'm not sharing. Cam eventually fades to the black. And Fritz reassures her, or just this topic in general, that he's not into poly and he wouldn't bring a poly relationship home to his mom. And he was just interested in the lifestyle just out of curiosity. Now, this is going to be a running storyline with Fritz. And I'm wondering, because, there's a level of interest there or curiosity. I'm wondering if the opportunity presents itself, would he take on to it, is what I'm saying. Because, yes, a lot of us follow hashtags or follow videos on YouTube and find it interesting, but may not necessarily want to live that lifestyle, right? There was a time when I would watch all these campers or vloggers who were van life, and they would travel the world in this van, live in the van, and it was just such a beautiful little life they led. At least it was aesthetically pleasing on YouTube. So I was tuned in. And there was a time when I'm like, how much does a van cost? How much, is it cheaper than living in an apartment if I were to get a van? Like, I was thinking the whole thing, because that's just how my mind works. I get so hyper focused and I'm just like, I want to be a van lifer. And it's like, no, I don't. No, I may want to do a glamp situation a day or two, but living on a van, I don't know. That's going to be a no for me, dog. Nonetheless, I've watched so many videos about it. So maybe there was a time when Fritz was interested or curious, well, beyond curious, interested in poly life and wanted to know how it works. But now he's using the excuse of, no, I was just looking at it. Just because I'm looking at NASA stuff doesn't mean I want to be an astronaut. And they're like, no, you're looking at things because you're interested. You're looking at things because there's a part of you that's curious and would like to know further information on how to make this a reality in your life. I'm not saying it's all the way there. I'm just saying it's not a far possibility. Coley and Eddie, they're all hugged up on the porch step at this block party. Coley tells him in her weird voice, I don't know why she was sounding like that. She sounds different in her confessional than she does in person or as she's talking to someone. She's saying she feels a magnetism towards Eddie. She said she immediately felt an attraction towards him since the beginning. And she said, had he said to her, let's go, let's just leave, like, let's leave the show, me and you, she would have said, let's go. Like, she would have been all for it, which was cute. But I don't think there's anything beyond a physical attraction between them. Yes, there was an episode, 2 episodes ago, in which she shared this commonality of losing a loved one, and I guess they were opening up to each other about that. But even so, like, a lot of us lose, like, it's not unique. Like, it's not a unique experience to lose a loved one. This is a part of life. So them bonding over that was not a flex, and it was not an indicator of how well they're connecting with each other. Like, that's just ridiculous. There was no conversation really that they had between each other about their love language, about what they see in the other person and what they would like in their future love life, right? Or what is your ideal partner or stuff like that. There wasn't much conversation like that, so I feel like there isn't much depth between them. She ends off this no, she says to him, I'm a general contractor. I'm a general I don't know if she was lit in this moment, I don't know, but she was definitely being forward. Definitely being forward, and it was kind of cringe to watch because Eddie, you could tell that he just wasn't that interested or as forward as she was. Like, he wasn't reciprocating, he was just being nice. Ooh, and that's a big one. When someone's not reciprocating but they're just being nice, that is a hit to your ego once you realize what just took place. So she ends off and she tries to kiss him. She's like, kiss me, give me kisses. She's like standing right in front of him. She's poking her booty out, just trying to look all sensual and all of that. And he denies her. He said, no, I don't want to kiss you right now. I don't want to kiss you right now. And she finally got the message, but I felt like she would have forced herself on him had it not been on TV, had there not been other people around. I really think she would have forced herself on him. And I'm glad that she did not hear. And she finally walked off. She did this little swish and sway. And it was awkward. It was very awkward. He said in the confessional that, one, he did deny her in her face, but he further elaborated why he did so. He just felt like it wasn't the right place or right time. Him possibly kissing her right then and there in front of the other connections that he has would have been disrespectful. Angie saw all of this, and she said it. She saw this while she was hanging with Sahara, and she was clearly feeling some type of way. She was feeling jealous, and she felt like it was disrespectful. So they play this game where they have to match the quote that Tommy says to the person that said it. And mind you, did I say this earlier? The men are in the league right now. The men are the ones in power. So nonetheless, the women have to ring the bell of the person who said the quote that Tommy is saying. So I'm gonna read off just a couple of examples. So Naeem, he has had funeral home sex, which is wow. That's like, wow, a fun fact to definitely share. Cisco says he's had sex in a crowded beach in Puerto Rico. Is that where he's from? I forget. Is it Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic? Because he's a darker skinned Spanish guy. So I'm just interested about that. Eddie says he gives his love through words and thoughtful gifts. Khalil handles stress by working out. Jay had a girl pray to his which was strange. He explained it further and said, well, it's because I guess she was big on affirmation, and he's just like, okay, affirm my dick. Affirm this dick. That's what happened. Khalil, and this got censored. Khalil admitted to being a booty hole licker. And I don't know. The women were just like it was awkward. But I also feel like, are we grown or are we grown? Khalil was like, I don't want to send the reaction. He did not understand why people were reacting the way that they were. On one hand, I understood it, but on the other hand, I was like, I don't know. Unless Tommy said it in a different way, I don't know. Unless he said it in reverse. Is he saying that Khalil likes his booty hole licked, or he likes to lick other booty holes? Or both, or both. Or both. And Fritz says he has a fantasy having sex in an Uber. First of all, that's disrespectful. There's a driver. Like, it's just rude when people say stuff like that. Like, there are other people, like, literally in that small proximity. It's not like there's a partition. Hussein says his perfect date is a picnic in a park. And the two women who won this competition is Angie, who's the first winner, and Sahara, who won second. So they get to select the men they want to have a date with. Sahara surprisingly picks Fritz. And I say that surprisingly because Fritz has been talking dog shit about her. He's said to her, or the last time they had a little outgoing or like little thing going on, Sahara called him out for his copy and paste text messages. She felt like he was being disingenuous with her. So I'm like, why would she pick him? She should have picked Cam. So I'm wondering, did the producers have anything to do with that? They went on this pedicure spa date, and we cut to Angie. Angie selected Hussein to go on a date with. They went to the sound bath. And what I like about Angie, she's very thoughtful. She's very generous. And it's clear that is how she shows love. She's not quick to be like, oh, what is he gonna do for me, or what does he bring to the table, or yeah, like she's like, no, I'm love. I am love. I give love. And she shows that in so many different ways, and I love that about her. I think she has a great character. So I think she will leave here with somebody. Shout out to Denzel Washington. I think she will leave here with somebody. So like I said, they're at a sound bath, and she gives Hussein this keychain that he could give to his son, because Hussein shared with her that he has a 6-year-old son who lives outside of Philly, like further out. I don't know if in a whole different state, but nonetheless, he's far away from him. And she says that, you could give this to your son, so whenever he's missing you or just wants you near, she could read this keychain and see the beautiful inscription. And you could see how Hussein was really touched by that. It was a very thoughtful and just beautiful gift. So Angie, she has a very, very kind heart. We cut back to Sahara and Fritz, and the topic of polyester, I should say, because Sahara kept saying polyester. She's low-key funny. But I think Fritz is so uninterested that he doesn't give a damn how her humor is showing up here. But the topic comes up again. She was like, well, this came up, but I just want to make sure that you're not polyester, because I want to know the fabric of your life. And it's like, girl, what? So that was funny. Fritz was annoyed. He's like, this is coming up again. I'm not interested in poly life and all these things. He's trying to make that clear, but that gives another impression for him to leave this date with, oh, I don't like her still, right? Like this date did not redeem Sahara in the eyes of Fritz. Fritz also admits that he was playing in the beginning of this process. Now, I want to know what he meant by that. Like, playing has, I think what he means is he took this process or took this show as a joke. Like, okay, I'm just playing around. Like he's not being honest. I don't know. That was just a weird thing to say. And you could see that Sahara was like, okay. And I think this kind of further proves my point. Something about him, he just comes off very pretentious or disingenuous, and I just don't like that. So, nonetheless, we cut to the men's lounge. They talk about the women that they're having a connection with and the woman who they feel is not ready to love. Fritz wants to get Sahara out of here. He's talking to Jay, I think Eddie too. But on the side, the row that Fritz is on, he's saying to them, like, yo, let's get Sahara out of here. Let's get Sahara out of here. Let's have enough votes to get her out of here. And you could see Cam is getting mad about that because he could hear it. And Cam is feeling Sahara. Like, he's genuinely liking Sahara. He doesn't like that. So he calls Fritz out. And he says he doesn't think Fritz is here for the right reasons. And you shouldn't be manipulating other people to want to vote Sahara out. You know I like her. Why would you do that? Fritz tries to play it off or gaslight him, saying, raise your hand, or any man who felt like I was manipulating you or trying to or convincing you to vote Sahara out, raise your hand. And even Cisco had to come in and be like, yo, we saw you just now talking to the guys right next to you saying, let's get Sahara out of here. Then Fritz is talking about, okay, but did they do it because they want to do it? Or like, did I convince them? Like, trying to like manipulate it. And he's saying back like, okay, man. Okay. Like, Fritz, get out of my face. Damn. And cut your beard. That's probably the only thing you got with yourself. What happened here? Okay, so Coley, they say Eddie made a point that he feels like she's moving too fast. A lot of the guys saying that she comes across as if she has a representative. Rocky, the guys feel like they don't have a physical attraction for her and they're just not that into her. Tommy gives us a curveball and says he wants 2 of the ladies to go home. So start voting down for 2. Then we get to the elimination dates. We see that it is Sahara, Coley, and Rocky. Now, this episode ends off with a cliffhanger. So we don't know exactly who is eliminated. It could still be a curveball. Who knows? But my guess is Rocky and Sahara. My guess. But I'm hoping Sahara stays because, I think Cam really does like her. So it might be Rocky and Coley. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see next Friday, y'all. But during these elimination dates, Cam is talking to Sahara yet again, because this has happened before. Cam says to her that someone is lobbying to get you out. Sahara's like, well, I'm just trying to be myself. I'm just trying to be myself. Coley is sitting with Eddie, and Eddie tells her face to face that, look, it's not like he didn't appreciate her trying to kiss him, but he said that he felt it was doing too much. Like, he thought it was too much. Coley says, okay, well, I didn't know there were rules. I'd never been to a block party. I didn't know. Like, girl, you stop. Let's say you haven't been to a block party. Still stop. Cut it out. Wrong time, wrong environment, regardless. He also tells her that a lot of the guys feel like she lacks substance. She lacks anything underneath. Like, she's a very attractive woman, but underneath it all, what does she have going on? And with Jay and Rocky, what I noticed is when Rocky arrived, Jay was still seated in the booth. Jay did not get up. Rocky had to sit down, scoot herself closer to Jay, and then they finally hugged. And I feel like that just speaks to how uninterested these men are towards Rocky. Like, damn, you can't even get up and give her a big hug and like hug her body down. You give her a lounge in the booth type hug. Like, come on, that's a little disrespectful. Anyway, so that makes me feel for certain that she's going to leave. He tells her that her personality is A1, but it's just, we don't really feel that connection with you type of thing. So we'll see. It ends off with a cliffhanger. We'll see how it goes. My prediction is Rocky, definitely. And I'm still kind of stuck on whether it's going to be Sahara or Coley, because I do want Sahara to stay just to kind of spite Fritz and support Cam, because I think Cam generally likes her. So we'll see. I'll see y'all next time. Let me know what you think in the comments. Peace.